Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary.
You are listening to Kayak Adventure Series. Kayak Adventure Series. This is where you choose your own adventure. You want to be offshore. You want to be shallow. You want to go up the creek. You want to have a kayak that is sophisticated. Or a kayak that is simple. You get to choose your own adventure. Oh, looky there. That's a micro bag. I hope you brought the family. This is going to be wild. Hey, this adventure is going to be amazing. Welcome to the live stream. The Lines End by Sunline. You guys, I can't believe it. We built it up. I gotta start with something. I know as we wait for people to join, Drew, you have a lot of big ideas, and I'm like, okay, speaking.
Sorry.
this and this stuff came together, and it was an amazing week. I had a blast. Everyone who I stayed in the house with, we all had a blast going into town. I didn't have if I was at the Airbnb and I had moments where I was like, I just want to chill. That was fine, but I never felt like I was bored, and I never felt like I didn't have something to do.
Right? Yeah.
There was something to do. If you didn't do it, that was your fault. You guys agree?
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that how many people showed up to all the extracurricular stuff that I was stressed about. You know, people maybe wouldn't show up. You know, and you guys did.
The Bastard brunch was packed.
Oh God, yeah. And I think actually I haven't even told you guys this yet. On this episode, I think we should go through the main events, like you're talking about, Billy, the things to do, and we should rate out of 10 how we felt those things went. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll give ourselves a little bit of a self-assessment here and rate them. So that could be fun little game for us.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And you guys on the live, look at Phil. He's already on. Phil Robertson. What's up, man? Southwest Indiana Outdoors, perfect level adventure fishing. What's up, guys? The anyone who was at the event, if you want to come on the live, Jake and I talked about this, Billy. I don't know how we can do it. We'll figure out a way to just tell us on the comments if you want to come on, and if you were at Shoaliepalooza and you want to talk a little bit about your experience. Just this is sort of an open invite to the anglers to come on the live today if you guys happen to be free. Talk about
message any of us.
Or just message us on those comments there. If you're on Instagram, we can't get the comments, so if you're on Instagram, do it on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll send you guys a link, and you can just come on and just quickly 5 minutes, just say how it went, what you liked, what you didn't. You know, we already have enough that we're probably screwed. No one's harder, on us than us. You know what I mean? Like, that's the truth. Like, we already know the stuff we need to fix. So you guys can say it if you want, but we probably already know it. But then again, there's a few things maybe we missed that we don't know we need to tweak, but it's pretty obvious the stuff we got to work on and tweak. But all in all, I agree, Billy and Jake, great event. Everyone had a blast. I've gotten so many comments about this is the funnest thing they've ever been to. And if that's the first one with a few little clunky moments and times, and that's what the people are saying, imagine what this could be. I think you guys are seeing the vision, and the concept was at least proven to be pretty darn cool. So
yeah. And I mean, I've talked to so many people about their experiences, and just obviously I followed around on Saturday. I followed a couple of you guys. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to play a lot of those clips. So perhaps maybe that can be something we can talk about today. But I mean, it was crazy. Like, just to see people, like, I was just like randomly at a spot in the river doing some like B-roll footage, and all of a sudden I just see a guy going up a river with his kayak, in his Crescent. I think he had a light tackle, I believe, or a CK1, one of the two. They're very similar. And I just see him going upstream, and it's just like wild that like he's tethered to his kayak, trudging upstream, casting, and it's just like I never thought I'd see that again. Like, I don't know, it was kind of surreal.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. So that's cool. So I think, guys, we're going to show some videos on today's show. We're going to show pictures of the event, some stuff that we haven't had a chance to like process and I mean, trust me, I still have hardly had a chance to process it and go through any of it, because we stayed an extra day. I got out with the family on the water, caught a few shoalies, and wife caught caught one. Well, it was more like a Spoli. I think it was like a hybrid. But she lost 3 good ones. She had a big one on, and they all those actual shoalies came off. But we had fun, and we got caught in a huge rainstorm. I'm talking like the biggest thunder and lightning storm, literally a half mile downstream. We were paddling away from it, but it just kept catching up to us. It rained on us, and it was a cold rain. In the woods, we were hiding out for like probably 45 minutes or more, and the woods were flooded with water. One of my kayaks, even the water came up so much in the river, one of them floated downstream 30 yards. And I wanted to go check on them, but it's hard when your kids are like, no, keep holding us, we're cold, and I'm like, I need to go check on those kayaks because I don't think we pulled them up quite far enough running to get out of the rain. But anyway, it's a memory we'll never forget as a family, just cuddled up in the woods. Maybe I can picture that I can share. It was fun. But
yeah, and I'm glad everyone was safe, but as content creators, you love those moments looking back when it rained. I mean, as a family, you love the memory of it because it'll be a core memory now for them. But having video of being caught in a rainstorm is fun. Another thing that happened for me, I don't like dream a lot or don't remember my dreams. And last night or early this morning, I was dreaming that I was fishing on the Flint River. So it was kind of a new.
That's crazy.
I get excited for tournaments, but I don't actually dream about fishing. I daydream about fishing all the time, but I thought that was kind of fun.
No, absolutely. To actually dream about it, that tells you, I guess, what kind of impact it had on your life. You know what I mean? Other people's lives too. The way everyone's talking about this thing, so that's cool. I did find that video. I'm gonna pull it up so you guys can see it real quick. It was a memory for sure that we'll never forget. So there was a snake in the hole right next to us in our tree, hiding out right there. There's the snake down in there, curled up.
He's just trying to avoid the rain.
And here we are.
Oh my gosh, she's so wet.
Oh yeah. Now this is after it already. See how wet it is.
Guys.
But that was after it already had stopped thundering and lightning. We were about to get back on the water. But Theo, during the storm, we were all cuddled up like a little, just, I don't know, this little family just cuddled up there trying to stay warm because it got real cold. But the sun came out. We had a beautiful afloat after that. So anyway, it was a good memory, good time. So
I think Billy and I definitely went on a kayak adventure on our first trip. It was it was kind of crazy how steep some of those wildlife management areas were. I think if it rained like that in that clip, you would have a really tough time getting out of a couple of them.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I mean, very tough time. So you got to keep that in mind. That's where those, 4-wheel drive trucks really come into play. That's kind of how I grew up kayak fishing. Is finding
Toyota gang.
Yep.
Yeah. We found out, and maybe we knew this already, but we found out all 3 of us drive a Tacoma.
That's true. That is true. It's crazy. So shout out to Toyota and the Bonus Bucks program. And I don't know if anybody had a Toyota that would qualify to win the Bonus Bucks for that event. We should find out. Rob Jolly says, when are we going back to Georgia? 2025? It sounds like everyone wants to go back. That was a great venue. If that's how we start it, and let's get into it, and we'll start showing pictures and go over the the week. But if that's how we start this thing, I hope you guys realize, everyone watching, listening, they won't all be that big of a festival, that big of a thing. Like Thomas and Georgia just absolutely knocked it out of the park and did a lot of that, for us and put on that whole thing. I mean, that speakeasy being such a rare and cool place, and all the just everything was so unique, and that's just going to be hard. I mean, everywhere else has great venues, don't get me wrong, and you guys are going to love it, but I think that was just a unique, special place. You know what I mean? So we'll see, man. We'll see, Rob. We'll see. TBD is what I'll tell you, Rob. So again, Rob and anybody out there, Aaron's outdoors. He's on the water. I know, because we had an interview with Aaron yesterday, and we're going to play it. Jake and I got on with Aaron real quick, and we're going to play it on this live stream at the end. So we're going to go do our thing first, and then the last 30 minutes will be us interviewing Aaron. He's on the water with John from Creek Fishing Adventures right now, kind of celebrating and just having a good time on the water. But that will come later. So, Travis Decker said he'll come on. Let's send us a DM on Instagram, and I'll shoot you the link for shoot you the link for the live stream. You can come on. My sister's on here saying she loves her Toyota. I had a good time with the family there, having the Butler family on, which is funny because it was Butler Toyota was the ones who came from Macon. Butler Toyota are the ones who brought the Toyota trucks that were parked right in front of the theater. So people could show them off and they could test drive them.
Those new Tacomas look sweet.
Yeah. I didn't have a chance to even take a look at them. That's a bummer. I was so busy. And all three of us, we thought we were going to have time to do all this extra stuff, but we were running around like chickens with our heads cocked the entire time. And I feel so bad. Billy, you didn't even get a chance to fish the second day, and you're in the tournament, which, I got to find a way to do something for you, man, because you're in a lot of these. But we are streamlining this, and I think you'll have better success, in the future, potentially fishing and trying to run them. But it's that first one was definitely,
yeah,
a lot.
I mean, it's hindsight, and we'll probably talk about it more. And the live stream folks don't like all that, but I really did have to be at the theater. Access to the projector and to the actual. I can only do so much from the Airbnb, and then I made that tough decision to not fish. But you
did good on Friday. You did good. Like
Friday was for me. It was
20th. I mean, you could have.
Did you go to our spot that day, Billy?
Yes. Well, I put in there and then I took out.
Oh, you floated.
Yeah. Well, we used the 30. I love the format. We used the 30 minutes to go cover like a mile and a half of water.
Smart.
Okay. So you went the opposite way that we were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if Rob.
Someone was like, why'd you guys go there and go upstream? I was like, I don't know. We didn't know what we were doing.
See if Rob can send us a message on, and Luke Turner saying great event. Drew Gregory, thanks, man. Appreciate it, Luke.
Do we have any news and notes?
Love the new video, Billy. Billy's the first one to get our. Yeah, I don't know if we really have any. I mean, we probably do, but we don't really have them officially. But Billy,
my video instead.
Your video is the first Shoaliepalooza recap to come out. I know Alex Rudd's got 4 parts. He said. I know John Dalton's going to do one. I'm sure those guys. Banks and Eddie.
Well, I know Aaron's got at least.
Aaron, of course. He's got the whole thing. So, Travis said he was going to go on that. Rob, Travis, shoot us a message, maybe on Facebook or Instagram somewhere, and we will get you the live stream link here. So,
and I love the GoPro Hero 12. I had the angle was wrong. I've been using a 360 camera for 2 years, and so I forgot to check the view, and so it's like the top of my head and then all that. So on my video, but dude, it's good. Super view. It's super view, and then I have the 2.0 the GoPro mod lens, so I'm just gonna put that mod lens on there and then be done with it. But the GoPro, the quality of the 12, no overheating issues. I loved it. So.
Speaking of GoPro 12, look at this. We gave away a GoPro 12.
There you go.
For the Big Bass Bling. So
yeah, we did.
Right there.
Did you got here? Go. Let's see. Let me get it. Pull it up. I was on a different tab. I'm trying to see if Travis has messaged us yet somewhere. Oh, here we go. On Instagram. He said he has. All right, cool. I'll send you the link and he can come on.
Aaron won because he caught the big bass on he had it on GoPro. He got a free GoPro 12. So we gave that to him.
Did you post the picture just now? Or did I miss
you want to see it? Here you go.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. Yeah. So that's the GoPro Big Bass bonus.
Right.
If you capture, it's a bonus because you got a huge prize already from Boondocks. And if you capture the biggest bass of the event on GoPro or any action camera, doesn't have to be GoPro, any action camera, from not an angle of just your crotch and you just fighting it in. I'm talking like from behind where we can actually see the fight and the action. You get a GoPro Hero 12, and he did it first event. He got big bass on.
Really, he got that camera because of the hair flip he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids even laughed. I showed it at home, and the kids were watching. As soon as he flipped his hair, they all laughed. I was like, oh, that.
He told me, he's like, man, you did me dirty with the hair flip. I was like, no, dude, there's no way that wasn't going in there when we edited.
Everybody loved that. Everybody loved it. I'm looking here. I'm going to find it eventually from Travis, because you know how Instagram has all these different like message requests. These primary are these, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, guys.
I think we're going to have some really good footage overall. Because I know the stuff that Alex and John got are good. Like I helped them a little bit on. I think that was Thursday we went out. I know John got some super sick footage sitting in the current, so I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah.
We already know that Aaron's going to have good content because I saw a couple of his pre-fishing clips and even that was insane. So,
yeah. All right. Well, you guys want to start? What do you want to start with? Let's just go in order. Opening ceremonies and start and see if what we rate the opening ceremonies. How do you think they went? Everything about it. What do you think?
I thought they were really good, honestly. Like usually those openings, like the check-in is like super like clinical and there's not a lot going on, and like even like the free stuff was usually the free stuff's not very good. And I feel like we had a lot of things to do there. Like I tried out 3 different kayaks myself, so I got to try the Primo, the K-Craft, and then I jumped out on the Cuda, the NRS Cuda, the inflatable. So I thought that was fun.
So
people stuck around a long time.
Out of 10, what are you rating the
flop or no flop?
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you
definitely
think?
not a flop. I mean, I would give it like an 8 or a 9. I think one of the things that maybe we should have been more communicative about or communicated better is just that hey, there's going to be a bunch of food here, guys. Don't eat. Come eat here. Eat at the food trucks. So
yeah, you're talking about at the opening ceremonies,
right? Because there was some, there was a barbecue truck, there was a coffee truck, and the coffee one was really popular.
Very popular. So these are pictures of the opening ceremonies right here. I'm pulling up. You guys see those?
Yeah.
All right. So it was packed. Everyone checked in here. They got all their gift bags. They were playing games, like you said. The coffee trucks. I mean, the coffee and ice cream truck was popular. The barbecue truck. So you're thinking not enough people probably ate at the food trucks.
Yeah, I would like to just we want to support those food trucks that are there. So like, I would like to get the word out. Like, hey guys, if you're pre-fishing, you could do like Dustin did, where they pre-fished that stretch. They rolled up on their kayaks, they jumped out, they checked in, grabbed some food from the food truck, and I thought that was really cool. I actually got some footage of that. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, see if you can. This is Steve Kennedy. He showed up, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. He showed up and fished the tournament, so it's pretty cool. I think he finished 21st. So it was really cool to see Steve there. Big fan favorite on the Bassmaster Elite Series, and to have an Elite Series angler show up to the very first event, that was pretty darn crazy to me. And I talked to him about it at the Classic, and he seemed to be interested. I just never knew he would actually show up. So he did. But that was cool. And then I give the opening ceremonies a 9 out of 10. And yeah, some more people probably could have got some stuff from the food trucks, but we had a dinner afterwards at the Riverbend restaurant, which is kind of all that was our opening ceremony.
I forgot about that.
That was all part of sort of the opening ceremonies. And I give that like a 10 out of 10. Like 50 people showed up for that, which was awesome. And it proves that our format worked, because people were like, well, we don't have to get up at 4 a.m. tomorrow to get on the water. We just have to get up for a 10 a.m. Bass U brunch, which is optional anyway if we want to do it. So let's go eat. Let's have fun. Let's go celebrate. So that's what they did, and that was pretty cool. So I think
that restaurant has to be happy, because that was a ton of business for that small restaurant.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They loved
and they did a pretty good job. Obviously, there was a couple of hiccups with some people's food, but like they were serving so many people, and I don't feel like it was too slow.
Yeah, look at that.
That was before it even got full. We had one more table that got full as well. So
yeah, that table was, like right in front of you filled up.
Yeah. I sat there with some guys. So 50 people. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And the only thing I'm going to knock it on was we didn't really have cell signal down there. But we, you know what I mean? Like on the water by the river. We didn't have
that was a
signal.
bummer.
That was
I was
tough.
trying so hard to like find a spot to upload videos, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Look
at
this, Aaron.
Starlink.
Aaron says he has probably 7 YouTube videos from Shoaliepalooza. Let's get that's incredible, 7. So we can't wait to see those.
Yeah.
So now let's
well, real quick, I'll say like an 8.
8.
Obviously I got my river bassin hat.
Nice.
Yes, I picked this one. Who wouldn't pick this one? And then I liked when you showed up to the registration. It was at a park, and you had the one of the banners there, and so immediately, I knew I was in the right place, because thinking you're going the wrong way, and then to your point, no cell signal. I'm like, am I in the right? Oh, there's the band. Oh, I'm here. So that was cool.
I'm gonna show you a picture if I can find it, Billy, of what you're talking about. Well, I mean, you may have seen it a minute ago, but I think I can probably find a picture of that. But you guys, we can bring Travis in too. He's down there in the stream. I'm looking at this. You guys can bring him in. Let's get his thoughts on how that went.
Let's add him in. There he is. What's up, man?
Can we hear you?
Oh, can't hear you.
You're muted. Can't hear you right now. In the meantime, I will share this again. You guys,
Dustin said the brunch was great. It really was. The turnout for that was insane.
Yeah. There you go. There's that big banner, right?
Oh,
you guys
no.
See that?
No, we still see your folder view.
Folder view. So it's not letting me share that. All right, let me fix this, guys. Sorry, technical.
Yeah. I think one thing for the registration and maybe dinner, and this is not, we can't control all the things, but like some adult beverages would have been good at registration.
Yeah. Now that's something.
Not getting hammered or anything, but a couple beers.
I think the park won't allow you or something, right?
They did say here. This is what you guys are talking about here. They did say that they don't allow alcohol there, and we didn't say this publicly, but if you would have had some there, as long as it wasn't in a glass container and it wasn't really obvious, you would have been fine. No one would have said anything. But we want to always err on the side of caution with that and not break any rules. But yeah, I agree. That's another good point though, to maybe 8.5 out of 10. So opening ceremonies.
And the view was really sick off that. That's where John and Alex finished their YouTube videos too. Because I mean, that's the perfect outro.
Yeah, exactly. It is. All right.
I
where in the world?
look forward to seeing how that. Did we lose Travis? Or is he reloading?
He's reloading, I think, trying to get the audio to work probably. So, but yeah, if anybody wants to come on, you guys can. We'll send you a link if you want to give your comments. All right. So 8.5, 9 out of 10 in my estimate. I mean, dude, the view there is beautiful. I mean, the food, the games. No one really played cornhole. I had those out, and then next time we're gonna have that Revel Round game out that finally got shipped to us, and we were able to show it off on the stage. That's a lot of fun because it's like cornhole, but they're with little hacky sack bags, and it's like a round table. It's easier to transport, and you can kick the bags back in, and for your partner who's there, because you're throwing to one of your partners there, just like cornhole, you can kick them back in with your feet if they roll off of that table, hacking them back onto the board. You know what I'm saying? Or back in the hole, and it's worth extra points if you do that. So it kind of is a little bit more interactive. It's a cool game, so I can't wait for us to start playing that. Some of these next one. We'll get Travis back in. He just sent me a message. But all right, next we had, and obviously we covered the dinner there at the Riverbend restaurant. And then Dustin, I'll send you a link. And then as Travis gets the next thing we had was the Bash U brunch on the next morning at 10. How do you guys think that went? We had 2 seminars there.
Good.
Let's rate it. So
I don't really think that. I think maybe like an 8. I think we could have maybe started 15 minutes sooner, and it would have given us a little bit more leeway on the seminar. Yeah. But honestly, the Shoal Bass one was really interesting. Shout out to the hat he gave me. And I thought that the rigging one was very informative, especially if you're curious on because Gene has a very complex kayak, and he's got that thing down to a science. So
no doubt. So what was your number when you're rating it out of 10?
Give it an 8, and only because I think if we would have given it a little bit more time, but I think people enjoyed it. They got a good breakfast before heading out. So
I feel like I think the location, the speakeasy was so unique. It was so cool. Yeah, there's
a picture right there of just kind of how we had it set up, and looks a lot brighter in this picture.
Yeah, it does.
Definitely wasn't.
I got a video of it too. I think this is it. Right here, maybe. Is this it? We'll find out. Well, that's at the after party, but that is the speakeasy. That's just the after party, not for the brunch.
Tell lies. Always tell lies.
But I do have a video somewhere. It might be this one of the actual brunch there.
Yeah,
That's not it either. It's so hard to find in these little thumbnails.
yeah.
But I'll look for that, and then you guys can do your ratings. I'll look for that video.
So no rating for me. I actually didn't go to the brunch. I used that
True.
time to try to scout some river, and we did that. So no rating for me. But like you said, the venue for that was like 11 out of 10. So the speakeasy
it was unreal.
Yeah,
it was unreal. I'm gonna give that honestly, I'll give it like a 9.5 out of 10 because the place was cool, the food was cool, everybody came. We had like 40 something people there. We ate all the food. Gene was great. Dr. Salmon's.
You guys ate so much.
Yeah, I know. You and I just ate like a pancake. It was all gone. And I was like,
it was like scraps. It was like a cold pancake. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it was insane.
I was getting the jitters by the end. I was like, man, I'm starving. All I've had is coffee.
Yeah, Fisher folk over here is like, dude had millions of dollars in Babe Ruth stuff. Yeah, he did. And Hank Aaron and Jackie Robinson and every name you want to mention in there, signed memorabilia. It was crazy. And I just going to give it like pretty much almost, like I said, 9.5 out of 10, because the stuff that really didn't go well, it was really just like stuff that we could have like done better. You know what I mean? Like the place was great. The anglers showed up. We had to cut out the YouTuber panel and Jeff Little and I's seminar, because next time we're going to change this in Michigan. We're going to change the timing. We're going to maybe be like, whenever the anglers get there, we're going to do our first seminar like at 30 minutes, start at 30 minutes after they get there. Cause there's a lot of wanting to talk and hang out.
Just eat and
listen. Yeah.
I would love to do like a rigging seminar myself. Like, sit down and do like, here's the Newport. I've rigged like 15 at this point. Like,
yeah, so. That'd be cool to have you do one of those at one of the events for sure.
What's the plan with the video that you did record? You give those to the presenters?
So ideally, and this is, ideally, we edit it down to a seminar that will be posted on Bass University. We just have to tweak the colors a little bit, because it was a challenge to record that. It was very dark in there. So
that was one of the things. Yeah, you could kind of knock it a little bit, but that's nothing to do with the people and their experience there. I think the anglers loved it.
Yeah,
and they showed up. So
I think from the crowd standpoint, like it was perfect. Like nothing to knock it. Like people were really engaged on the seminars. Like I think the shoal bass, like the first half of that shoal bass one, people were really into.
Yeah.
So, and I do have some.
So here we go. Here's the video now of the actual talk from Dr. Salmon's.
Like, what the heck is going on here?
So that was cool. So that's kind of how it looked. We didn't have a chance to even post all this stuff necessarily. We were just going so fast. So thank you guys so much for coming to the
This is Bass the end, but you can see the lighting's a little
presented by Bass University.
Orange.
So one of the foremost leaders in the fishing world,
that's
bass
cool,
fishing
man.
world, and educating, and that's cool. Yeah, so that's kind of what it looked like on the video. But yeah, thanks for coming out to that, guys. Let's see if we got anybody in the queue here. We can try Travis again and Dustin. Let's see. Do we hear you now, Travis?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. We'll bring Dustin in too.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up? Both of you guys, man. So what are you're driving, Dustin?
I am. I'm always driving, it feels like. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you guys think, man? I'll let Travis, you can go first. I mean, you were the first to pop in here and tell us you want to come on and talk about the event a little bit. So what do you think, man? What do you want to start with? Just share your thoughts.
Man, it was just an absolute blast. I fished so many bass tournaments in my life, and to have an event like that, it was just crazy to see all the hard work and everything you put in. I mean, I started out with the registration, having all the vendors there, and I felt kind of bad for the food truck guys. I wanted everybody to eat, but at the same time, we were heading to Riverbend afterwards, and all Riverbend was awesome. and then to get up and do I think the best thing of the whole tournament was not having to get up Friday morning early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to kind of got to sleep in and then head over to the brunch and eat breakfast and hang out with everybody, and it was a great time.
It was so weird to see people fishing in the evening because, like, obviously I wasn't fishing, but I was like sitting there next to Amanda while she's judging fish, and it's just like it's progressively getting darker. And it seemed like as that afternoon session got later and later, the big fish started biting because from 6 to 7, it just seemed like so many big shoal bass were caught. It's crazy.
Yeah, I caught 2 of my 18s in the last probably 20-25 minutes of the Friday.
And I mean, the day one big fish was literally a buzzer beater. Like he didn't even have like half a second to spare to get that one.
Yeah, that was Mike Hawks, wasn't it?
It was.
It was razor thin. It was like 1/100th of a second. Like literally, like it was like 59.59. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was we awesome. Didn't talk about that enough, honestly, about that fish and how they were like, is this going to count? Is it not going to count? You know, because we didn't really clarify that. And of course, it's the first event. And I mean, Bassmaster and Hobie and KBF, they kind of clarify a little bit. So I've heard them say it. So I knew it could be stamped 7 on the dot. And doesn't matter if it's 7, 30 seconds, 7 and like 7 and
as long as it's
seconds.
not 7:01.
Right. As long as it's not 7:01, you're good. So because every
definitely the right call.
Yeah, it was. And it counted and he got it. And it was a big bass. What was it? Do you remember what?
21 and
21 and a half, I think.
Yeah, shoal bass. So
and then he caught a bigger one the next day though. That's the craziest part.
Yeah.
And I've got to tell you guys, never in my life, those shoal bass are insane. Yeah. I have a clip in a video that it took 7 minutes from the time I hooked the fish. It took 7 minutes and 39 seconds to actually get a good picture of it and release it.
What?
Because I could not get it to set still on a board.
Dang.
And I've catched big smallmouth up here in the river all the time, and I've never had one fight the way these shoal bass fight. That was definitely a fish of a lifetime. It was really cool.
Yeah,
I had a lot of people telling me like, yeah, we need like a restraint for these things because they like won't sit still.
Yeah, they're tough. Dustin,
I think
man,
because they were spawning too. Like they get kind of.
Yeah, maybe it's the spring. The water's cooler. They got more energy. Trust me, you catch them in summer, it won't be quite like that, or the fall. But
yeah,
I can't imagine trying to do the micro bag. I didn't enter that. But I can imagine trying to hold down all those small fish.
Dude,
well,
John's
paid off for
John.
John.
Man.
Yep.
I lost 4 on the micro bag. Just couldn't keep them on the board. You couldn't put your hand on them or a couple fingers or anything to get them to stay in one spot.
Yeah, I believe that.
That's the challenge of the micro bag, man.
Yeah, I think they were all camera shy. Is anything I could come up with. Is I could get them to hold still for a couple seconds until I got the camera ready, and then it was game on again. So
that might be good feedback. I'm curious if we need to tweak, the whole that aspect, because like there were some challenges with the micro bag, which we can talk about.
Well,
later,
I think some people just didn't know the rule, even that's why they're 3 fingers were on the fish, and
like some people were like holding the fish like this, and like you couldn't even see the fish. So how do we even know? Like,
but I tested the whole thing. I mean, I fished a couple times for micro bags. One in a creek here in Ohio, just from the bank with the kids. Another time on a kayak on Susquehanna, where we're going to be for the fiesta on the Susky. And it's not much. I didn't think it was much different than regular fish that still flop and try to, it's challenging and you got to figure it out, but eventually they calm down and settle down and you can put your finger there and even lift it off and they just real quick and they stay, but it'll just take a little time. That's all. But John won because the other guys had their hand, too many fingers on the fish. So, and the micro bag is a winner take all. So he won like $210. I mean, it wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like for a $25 entry, he won $200 something. I covered his whole trip down there, the gas and some food and stuff. And I mean, not the whole trip.
I mean, if there was anyone that was going to win it, it's going to be John, because I knew that he was going to go for it. And he even had like a backup plan. He caught them all in his normal lures, which is the craziest part. Like he had his like small stuff ready to go just in case, but he didn't end up needing it.
Well, if they would have scored the fish right, the other guys, I think Ethan, and I can't remember who the other one was, then he wouldn't have won. So,
it was Will.
Will, okay, yeah,
another Illinois guy.
Yep. But Dustin, what did you think? I think Travis hit on something about the format, and that's kind of in my head when I invented it. I was like, I don't want people to ever be tired or stressed or rushed, and that's why some of the things are optional. But even the optional, they were like the brunch is at 10 a.m., not super early where you got to get up early, you don't have time. I mean, it seemed like that it kind of worked out where everyone enjoyed it. There's probably still some things that could be tweaked, but what did you think about that?
I absolutely loved it. I mean, as many tournaments as I fished, from day one to end of the tournament, you're getting up before sun up and you're running like crazy. So actually having a day that, we didn't get up until like 8 and then turn around and run over to the brunch. It was really weird. I mean, not to be on the water fishing, especially on. It's like, oh, it's tournament day. We should be fishing.
how antsy was everyone at that brunch to get out of there? Did you feel like time was going way faster and like, I got to get on the water? I got to go. I did
actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like, and especially you start thinking in your head, just like, man, did I do this? Do I have that ready? And we went back and grabbed all of our gear, started going back to our gear again. It was like, man, we're ready. But now we're just sitting around throwing our thumbs a little bit. It was weird.
I know a lot of people
feeling to it, but
a lot of people were stressed out about like, oh, do I need to get there early and like get a parking spot? And like some people were talking about getting there at like 9 a.m. to camp out. I'm like, that's crazy, man.
And it was cool that the seminar, especially the Dr. Salmon seminar about shoal bass, this is obviously kind of unique, but I felt like this information he gave you guys, if you weren't on shoal bass already or didn't know what to do on the tournament, or at least if you had an idea or you're on the fence about something, the information he gave you guys should have even helped direct you to, okay, I need to go here then, based on what he's told me about these fish and the time of the year and when they migrate and what they do and where they kind of are. And that was kind of cool. It's like your last chance to get some good intel. And think about Michigan next. Smalley Talk Podcast Live. They'll probably be, I'll be up there maybe on that show with some other folks, and it's good. I know those guys have fished, some of those rivers too. It's a good last minute, time to get some tips and tricks for the area. So that was kind of cool. So
I mean,
it definitely worked.
The group up.
It made me want to stay in the shoals for longer. Because of everything that he said. So that's what I concentrated on the whole time. I was dragging a light tackle too up the shoals. So I don't know where you were at, Jake, but you may have.
Did you fish where we checked in?
No, I was actually fishing. I was blessed enough to be fishing pretty much within sight of Russ the whole weekend.
Oh, so you were on the Ocmulgee.
Yeah, I was on the Ocmulgee.
Yeah, cool. It was good to see.
I fished that stretch, so.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see like people on every river kind of in the top 10. You know what I mean? It really was, I don't know. I assume the majority of the people probably fished the Flint because it was the closest. But so it's hard to say, you know what I mean? Unless you have like 25 people on this river and 25 on this one and 25 there and 25 on that lake and that lake. It's hard to tell, but it was just cool to see. Like it really, I mean, could have been one anywhere, and it was very equal throughout. Other than the lakes, yeah, you never know. The lakes were not, represented super well, but that's because I don't think many people fish the lakes. Like I know a few, but that's it. I mean, because you're coming down to Georgia to catch a shoal bass, right? So it's hard not to go after that fish when you're there, especially when they can get the lengths they get to get you over 100 inches. It's hard not to go that route, and obviously it worked. So, what was next, guys? We did the Bass U brunch. Then you guys went to the water, which hopefully a lot of people did what I said, and have your kayak loaded up on your truck, ready to roll to your river or lake from the Bass U brunch. Because it's not like it starts at 8 a.m. Like you said, Dustin, you guys could get up, load it all up. Hopefully you got it ready the night before so you could sleep in and then just drive to the brunch. And the brunch is over. It ends at 12:30. We gave you guys at the brunch your code a little bit early, your identifier code a little bit earlier than the public, which is another little bonus for getting there. Not that you could do anything with that code until, lines in time, but you were able to get it. The sooner you get that and get stuff done, I know as an angler, it feels good. So, and I appreciate you guys. And if you still didn't pay for that brunch, you can go onto that link for the Bass U brunch and click on the button. And again, it comes up with a suggested $30. You could change it to $1. You can change it to $5, based on what kind of, financial situation you're in. You're welcome to change it to 50 or 100 if you want. If you really appreciate us bringing those guys in, to have those great seminars. So, because it definitely costs us, and they don't just come in for nothing. You know what I mean? Like we got to take care of them. So appreciate you guys supporting us with that. And obviously the food, we had to pay for all the food and stuff. So, But yeah, the next thing was you went and fished. And now, what do you guys think about Friday? Was that pretty cool having a, just a half day and you kind of make a mistake, you could correct it on Saturday because it was still just a 5 fish limit between both days. How cool and how weird was it fishing in a tournament from 3 to 7, like getting a little bit of the afternoon bite? And that was very odd feeling.
It was pretty cool. And then like you said before, it's like you're practicing, but then your fish count. Like,
I have to say, we went to a random spot on Friday that we drove over and looked at it, but never actually got on the water. And so we hit it thinking that there's a good chance we can land something big. Didn't happen. But the thing is, what I really liked was it wasn't stressful. Like, oh, I just wasted a whole day checking out this spot. It's still 5 fish. So we caught a few fish, got a few things on the board, and still had a great plan B for Saturday. So it was nice not having that stress of trying to land 5.
Right.
I have an interesting story we can tell, which I don't know that. And this
we almost lost you there. Sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead, Jake.
Oh, I was gonna say this is kind of justifies the Friday session. Is that we had a competitor who fished Friday and had a giant bag. Unfortunately, he had the wrong identifier. And basically he didn't have the one that we had handed out. So none of his fish counted. And typically if that happened with a giant bag like that, you'd be so discouraged. You'd be like, okay, well, I can't win this tournament. I'm completely out of it. Like, this is just like a huge, it would be defeating. Well, he took it pretty well. He was like, you know what? That's fine. No big deal. And he went back out the next day and caught another giant bag after zeroing on, Friday because of all of his fish. So he ended up getting 4th, I believe.
It was Mr. Lee, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Lee. He was super. He seemed like he had a great time. He was super happy at the event, at the awards, and like it. To me, I think it justifies that, like, just because you zero on Friday, Friday is like, think of it as like your bonus time. It's like a lot of the people who ended up doing really well, with the exception of a few, didn't really have a giant bag on Friday. Like, a lot of those fish were caught on Saturday. So like, it's really just, it kind of balances out in the end. I think it's really cool because, if you go out and blink in a normal tournament on day 1, that's it, you're done.
Yeah. You're done.
I think Alex Rudd kind of nailed it too when he said now too was, low key comic. I think his overall demeanor, and he seems like a really positive, very infectious, positive guy, and I think that probably a lot of people would have got spun out, like Jake said. And
kind of close to the same thing happened with Abram Champion. His phone messed up on him. He had a 19-inch fish on Friday that he didn't get to submit. Yeah, I ran into him at Walmart that night when he was getting a new phone, and
dang.
And he came back out and ended up with 93 inches the next day. So
that actually brings up a point. You should have you could have a GoPro as a backup. You could take a photo. We prefer it be on linear mode, not wide or super view, with a GoPro, and get it back in time to get to somebody else to get that card, that data onto somebody else's phone with a quick app. You could send it to the app, or if you get it out with enough time to get back to us where some Wi-Fi, you could still get a GoPro, because we're thinking about extending the hours for fish submissions on Friday, maybe even an hour and a half time, giving another 15 minutes.
And keep in mind, GoPro does have GPS. Like, you can enable it.
That's a great idea, because I've got
GPS.
Verizon, and I had horrible signal. I had to end the day early every day and load up and try to go sit on the side of the road somewhere to submit pictures. So
right.
So I would have to fact check myself, but I think they removed the GPS from the 12.
Yeah, interesting.
My 11 has it, but I guess
But in a crunch, maybe we'll have to see if that's. But I did want to say that what what Jake was just talking about, Natu Lee, and I don't want to this doesn't detract or anything Aaron did, because he caught 102 1/4 inches. But Jake, tell me what he would have had. This is going to blow people away. Tell me what Natu would have had if his Friday fish would have counted with his Saturday fish.
I'm going by memory on this, so I might be a little foggy, but I saw his full limit because we were discussing it, in like the war room, basically.
Yeah.
And he had a 21 and something. He had a couple 20s. I think he had 94 inches or something.
On day one,
It was definitely 90s. Day one. So if you would have comboed that with his day 2, he definitely would have been up there. Like, I think like he would have at least had 100 inches. Like, so
Yeah.
he had
Maybe,
quite a day. And like,
yeah.
it's a bummer that his fish got disqualified, but to me, it was the way he handled it. He said, okay, I'll drive there and get an identifier from the house. So while we were, practicing or whatnot, he came by the house, drove all the way in, got an identifier from Amanda, went to the same spot he fished on day 1 and just wrecked him again. Because I believe he had planned on going to the Akmogi to fish for, or no, I think he was going to go to the Chattahoochee actually and fish the tailwaters of, what is that, West Point or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, and we could confirm this, but I thought maybe you'd even mention that he would have won the tournament if his first.
I think there was a possibility. I don't want to like just say that, but I think it definitely would have given the top 2 a run for their money.
Yeah, so he could have won the whole thing. So that's pretty wild. But at least in this format, he got a chance to still get 4th. You know what I mean? Come back because it's just 5 fish. And a lot of people are making comments about this. Let's think about it. Russ, remember he had 75 inches on day 1. So his Friday fish, none of them mattered. So in other words, Natu won the day 2 dark horse because he was at 0 and got all the way up to 94 something inches. So he moved the most spots from day 1 to day 2, which got him that huge package from Dark Horse Tackle, which is pretty cool. That they have that. So it's actually a little bit of I know it sounds weird. You want to have a good Friday, of course, but if you don't, you got a better chance to win that prize. So it's kind of a cool thing there. But Russ and then Lance, probably he had, I don't know if most of his fish, but some of them for sure. Most of them were probably on Saturday. So a lot of fish on Saturday. The bite was just seemed to be better. And then Lance is saying here he loves the Friday sesh because it gives you an opportunity to get a limit. Then you can spend all day Saturday chasing bigs only. Sam Cox, and there's a lot of comments about this, says the afternoon sesh was awesome. Change of pace. The only downfall I saw was by the time I loaded, drove 45 minutes back and prepped, it was almost midnight. And that's the reason why I've told people when it was, 7:00, it was still very light on the river because our Airbnb was on the river. And I thought to myself, man, did we not let them fish long enough? In the morning, you get the absolute, like at 6:30 in the morning, the next day, you guys were getting a very low light fishing for about, 20, 30 minutes until it was still very low light conditions. And you missed that on Friday afternoon. But the reason I stopped it at 7 was because, man, some people, and again, this was Sam's decision to fish somewhere that far away and blah, blah, where he got his Airbnb, blah, blah, blah. Right. But still, I wanted you guys to be able to get back in time to get batteries charged, get prepped for day 2. So you're not up crazy late. And I think there's a little strategy in that. Some people, I think Aaron even said he ended up a little early. He quit at 6:30 on Friday to get back, to get pictures uploaded.
Yeah, I had to give him the Wi-Fi password.
That's right. Yeah. And to get ready. So there's a little bit of strategy you can play into that Friday and how you're going to do it, because it can cause you to get to bed late if you are going to fish somewhere super far away and have a lot of other prep to do. So you got to get ready as much as you can on Friday morning and Thursday.
And if you ever have problems like with submitting fish, I think step 1 is to call the tournament director, because there's ways to like help figure it out, because like every situation is unique, like it's kind of at the discretion of the tournament director as well. So, I mean, a lot of people, I know a couple guys, I want to say it was Georgia Bassmaster Marshall. They pulled over in a church to get their photos submitted. So
yeah. That's right. That's a good point, actually. And by the way, Phil said the same thing. Friday was huge. It leaves room for error going into day 2 with a little less pressure. Ryan Parker, same thing. Friday session was key for him with no practice. So it's practice, but it counts if you catch something. So that's kind of cool. And sorry, Fisher folk, you didn't have service and you missed the deadline, but it's his own fault, which is why Friday, I want to extend that deadline longer, because we're not etching your names and trophies on Friday. And it's more, I need those fish to get submitted so we can have a recap that isn't too late. I can do a 15-30 minute recap for the day. That's not, so maybe we can push it at 8:30 or 8:45 and then the recap's at 9 or whatever, but we need to get that identifier out to you guys too. We don't want that to get out too late. So maybe it's 8:30 or something, and we can start the stream at 8:30. And if I go till 8:45 or whatever, we can give out the identifier code, there, but we just don't want it to be too late. So, but that does bring up a good point. You're allowed to legally get out of the river as long as you get permission from a landowner or whatever. Say, hey, do you got Wi-Fi at your house? Can I get on it real quick? Or do you mind if I come on your land to go walk up that hill to get some better signal? If they say yes, you're not trespassing. You've talked to the landowner, and we want you to get your fish in. You don't have to go back, get in your car, drive up a hill if you can find a way to do it without, quicker. So that is legal, guys. And then Sam's also saying he likes that Friday's fish have to be loaded on Fridays. So there's no sandbagging. And that's another thing, to a point we actually learned at this event that we're going to change for future events. If a Friday's fish, there is a bad photo and you get deducted for a mouth crack or hand on the gill or over the eye or something, whatever, we're going to allow those fish to be replaced on Saturday as well, because it's not a new fish. You've posted and submitted that fish. We won't take a new fish from Friday. We won't accept any new fish that you didn't submit, because that was your fault for not submitting it. But we will take any other pictures of fish that you were deducted on Saturday, because it's all 5 fish for the whole tournament. So why not let you have a chance to correct that error once you've had more time to kind of figure out? So anyway, speaking of landowners, I'm glad we had no problems, no issues with the landowners, and hopefully, we will have no issues, because when you're doing stuff like this, guys, I'll share my screen again, and I'll show you this cool picture here. If I can get it pulled up. Sorry.
I gotta imagine the reason he didn't come out was because that video went viral.
Which one? Oh yeah. The one of
the Marshall video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I had a picture of the trash in there. Maybe not.
I loaded a picture of the trash if you want to show it.
Oh, you did? Oh, you showed? Oh, yeah. If you loaded it, there it is. That was one of the coolest things. Hopefully the landowners don't have an issue with that. We got an entire truckload full of trash, including kiddies' pools and old kayaks that would sunk to the bottom, lawn chairs and general trash, and also a car battery. We literally took a car battery. I think it was Texas River Junkie. What'd you do with that? We actually sent it to the Airbnb that you stayed at, and they took care of it for us and found the place in town or whatever. They're cleaning people that took it to where it was supposed to go. So appreciate them for doing that. But Travis
found
Dustin,
like a giant. I was going to say someone found a giant like metal ore like you would see on a rowboat too, which.
Oh wow.
So random.
Yeah, that's very
pools
random.
are kind of fun to watch them get dragged out of the water.
Yeah, my father-in-law got those kiddie pools. So Saturday was next. So Friday you probably got to bed a little bit later, but let's face it, every time you fish a tournament, you can't help it. You end up getting to bed later than you want. You know what I mean? It's just the truth. And you're anxious, you can't sleep good. But Saturday you woke up, tell us about Saturday, how it went, and then what happened when you came back to the festival back in downtown Thomaston.
Saturday the fishing was great. I definitely want to take want to take Russ's paddle class at some point. I watched him catch a fish in the current while going backwards and then spinning around and trying to net this fish. It was pretty awesome. He kind of put on a fishing master class, and I got to watch him all day. So that was neat.
That's cool.
Then after the tournament was over, we went back, took showers, and headed over to the award ceremony. And you guys were hilarious. That was a lot of fun. There to watching the award ceremony and all. And then
we were definitely stressed
I hate
out.
that I didn't get to see. I hate that I didn't get to meet James from Crescent while I was there. That was the one thing that I wanted to do that I didn't get to. I run that light tackle too, and I like Crescent a lot. I think I believe in what you guys are doing, and also that was. But other than that, then I walk outside. And we've got this big, huge festival in Thomaston, and live music and vendors everywhere, and it was great. I wish I wasn't so wore out. I didn't make it to the after party because I was done after fishing for 4 straight days. So I just went back to the tent and crashed and got up and drove home to Virginia the next morning. But it was really an awesome experience. I can't wait. I don't know that I'll be able to make it with the rest of my schedule to any of the other tournaments, but I'm going to make it to Broodstock.
Yeah. That's cool, man. We'll see you there.
And then I will definitely put more on the schedule for next year.
Yep. Dustin, what about you, man, on Saturday?
I'll tell you what, Saturday we got up super early, made a really long run to do the shuttle and got set up. And the fish were there. We hit the water. It's on the water just a few minutes. I already had 2 good keepers already on the boat, and it was just like, okay, this is going to be a great day. And I was fishing with Robert Weichert and Ramon, and we hammered a bunch of fish, and
Nice.
I ended up getting a 19.5 inch. It was definitely my biggest, which was awesome, especially for doing it in the tournament.
Yeah.
And then, like Travis said, we got off the water, ended up back at the show and everything. But even just pulling in there, the atmosphere was great. I mean, you got out, everybody was happy. Everybody, live music. I mean, where we parked at, you could hear and see the music and stuff going. It was like, okay, this is a festival. It ain't just a tournament. It's just complete festival on top of that.
Yep.
So
Live music.
Yep. So definitely mad props to Drew and Billy and the city of Thompson for dragging out the red carpet for all the anglers, which is it's kind of unique, especially in the kayak world. So
yeah, it's unique in the boat world too. I can tell you that was.
It is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It is.
This
mean, that's.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was very different for sure. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it and got back and got to partake in the festival. I know you guys had a long shuttle and everything, Dustin. So tell me about the timing. Lines out was at 3. You guys had a long shuttle. I was a little concerned. Some anglers, lines out's at 3 and our awards are at 6. That's a long time, but not when you're 30 or 45 minutes away from just getting to your takeout and then loading up and then running a big long shuttle.
Yep.
I mean, were you able to get back in decent time? What time did you make it back?
We were hustling. I tell you what, we got off the water actually a couple minutes till 3 because we knew we had a long shuttle, and it was ended up being about an hour 15 minutes or about an hour and a half by the time we loaded up our gear and got all the way back to where my truck was sitting at, and then another 23 minutes, I think it was. Something like that, 25 minutes to even get into service. So
yeah,
we were pushing the limit up to the last second pretty much. And
you guys got back at what time, you think? May have lost you.
Back to the festival.
We got
some
you
good
now.
food.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He had a good story too, Drew, that your father-in-law, Ramon, flipped his kayak and stripped down to his skibbies and went scuba diving for his gear. I'd love to hear that. That could be a whole podcast.
Yeah, probably.
Especially with Ramon.
Wait, Ramon is your father-in-law, Drew?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out. He's the one who forgot his seat and went down the river on the kayak cushion. I'm like, dude, if this isn't an ad for kayak cushion, I don't know what is.
Yeah, he actually he paddled.
Guys.
Yeah, he paddled a long section sitting on a pizza box, another piece of trash that we found on the river, and the kayak cushion on top of all of it, trying to get him a little bit of height. So
that's
he
funny.
He was a cool dude. I liked him.
Yeah, he's a mess.
Ramon's a blast.
He is a blast.
But a shout out to kayak cushions, because every time I've seen them, I'm like, man, I'm not spending that much money for a cushion. And then I get there and I sit down on one, and they are worth absolutely every penny they charge.
Every penny.
That is true.
One too. The Bertha.
So there you go. There was our kayak cushion hot seat right there.
Yeah, and they're like antimicrobial. You can take the cover off and wash it. There's a lot of. Because the first thing people say is like, "Oh, I could go to Walmart and buy." You could and use it for a season and throw it away. The kayak, I have like 6 of them, and some of them are my original ones are just like the day I bought them. So
yeah. So if there's anybody out there that's thinking it's too much money, it's not. It is worth every penny.
Yeah, they are. Man, do we even? Let's see. So now we're on to kind of the awards. The awards. I mean, we were kind of giving ourselves ratings. That was.
You
out of here.
Interrupt real quick, Joe. I gotta go. I gotta be in the shop here in a few minutes. I just
see you, buddy.
Want to jump on. Definitely mad props to you, Drew, and for everything you put on. Billy for all the behind the scenes stuff. He did a phenomenal job that way.
Yeah, exactly.
He's everything.
Thanks, man.
But
yeah,
definitely you guys put on one heck of a show, and we're looking forward to Michigan.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. See you, buddy. Looking forward to
see
it.
you guys.
See ya. Yeah, Billy and Jake pulled it off.
Jake kept me in order.
Yeah, it was.
There were moments where I didn't even. He would like push the button. I'm like, what button? Like, what do you? I don't know. It was a little hectic, and Jake saved the moment more than once. So
Yeah, it's hard to explain to people how the issues and all that was going in there with the soundboard being far away. We had the lighting and the board being far away, and
where I was like, just give me the mic, I got you. Because
yeah.
It was really tough to juggle the mic and like, hey, Drew, no, we don't have that video. It's not working.
Yeah, we didn't tell people because in the moment you don't want to like ruin the experience for the anglers or the people at home. But the mic was a soft button to turn on and on. It wasn't a click.
It was awful.
So there was a delay. So if Drew was like, hey, Billy, and there was like an obvious delay in my response. It was because our mic, the back of house mic, was like a hot mic. So they could hear us online.
Right.
So I had to keep turning it on and off. And it's just one extra thing that you're like, but we made it work.
And I have the video that we never got to show.
All right, let's show it. Let's show it.
Watch it?
Well, let's first say, I would say we'll watch it, but I would say I gave our theater presentation the first try because it's hard to practice this until you actually do it. You can't really practice this very well. It was kind of like we had to wing it in some ways. So I mean, I think we can do a lot better. I think obviously we know what needs to get trimmed up and cleaned up and go quicker. I'm not going to read off every sponsor. Like if you guys wanted to get your name shouted out, and get talked about longer, then obviously that's the next level of sponsorship that they just have to pay for. But because we show them off during the whole event, the whole weekend, they're in your gift bags, or, we talk about them on the live. You're talking about it, you see them and they're part of the presentation, you know what I mean? For different categories, they're going to get mentioned. And it's like, I just need to mention the main ones and then keep it. So let's keep moving things faster and faster and streamline it. But we can make it faster, quicker. And I think we all kind of know some things. A little clunky. I give us like a 6 out of 10 compared to what it could be,
Yeah, we definitely, we had like the splash screens up probably a little too long and things like that. So
yeah. And Alex did a good job on stage, man. Great job of filling in. We're going to streamline all that stuff and it's going to be much, much better. We'll probably bring you guys up one by one. I know some people said it's kind of tough being up there standing in those bright lights for that long. So maybe we'll do that next time. And there's a lot of little things we'll tweak and we needed one to happen so we could know what to like adjust, and tweak. So we got it.
I did like the hot seat because I'll tell you, up until the last minute, I thought Russ had it.
Oh yeah. It made it very
I think
exciting.
Russ thought Russ had it right up until the last minute. So
yep.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Kayak cushion hot seat was a cool idea. We had to plan that quote random order. We knew the order, you know what I mean? Obviously. And you guys, that was the idea. You weren't supposed to know it. And it's good that Aaron's fish were submitted after lines out, because then nobody knew because Russ was in the lead when the board went off. I don't know. Amanda, I think she shut it off with like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours left. I told her to give it plenty of time. Don't do like an hour, do like at least an hour and a half or two so that we have some suspense for the hot seat. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what happened. It was very suspenseful. So,
and I knew Aaron had won obviously, but I knew before Aaron knew basically, well, before anyone knew really, because I saw what he had on day one. I saw him submitting his fish. And so I called him. I'm like, hey, I need you to give us this clip. He didn't know they had won. He was convinced that Russ had him beat because he saw that Russ had 100 inches and he's like, dude, he probably called that little one. I'm not going to win. He was really unsure, but I think the hot seat worked. I think once he saw what Russ had, I think Aaron's like, all right, I got this.
Yeah. Aaron was like the only one that probably knew once it was just him and
full disclosure, Russ. If you were really, really paying attention, Billy and I actually spoiled it for like a 1/10 of a second. It flashed on screen because Billy accidentally hit it twice.
Yeah.
But we fixed it really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went back to the theater. We saw it pop up, so we knew before Russ did.
That's all right. Well, none of us on stage knew. It was pretty cool. It was a good learning experience. And if Jake, if you want to play any videos,
so this is a clip that unfortunately didn't play properly. It's a really great clip. It's done by Jeff Little following Lance Coley. That's how he pronounces his name, right? Lance Coley.
Yeah, Lance Coley.
But basically, this is one of his big fish from Friday. This is from the short session. So,
yeah, this is a cool shot. Really cool. This line.
you can see it.
Yep. That was cool. And that was like a 20-incher, right?
Yeah, it was 20 on the dot.
So that's pretty cool, man. See that now that's the thing too. Like the anglers, you guys had some really cool footage, and we've seen a lot of recaps of some awesome fish catches and clips. I mean, and it doesn't even matter if you're like Ethan, was it Ethan Grizzard? He had this really cool clip of a chesty of him catching that fish, a PB, 19.5 shoalie, lots of emotion. And he could have submitted that to our website under the media, section for anglers, and upload footage is what it says. Those are clips like, whatever we got, short clips like that, we'll play them if we, need them or have time to play them. Obviously, even if you don't make the top 10 on stage, like if we want cool, just short clips like that, and we can put them on that big screen. And that's where I think you guys kind of helping us out. And especially on Friday, please, on Friday, by all means, I know you're busy. You got to get to bed, but just trimming one clip down to like no cuts and edits, just one to that 30 seconds of that fish catch, and submitting it really doesn't take that long. You know what I mean? Like it won't add that much more time until you get to bed. So
I'm curious too, like people who were in the theater leading up to the start, it seemed like people were really into the day one footage we were showing. Like,
oh yeah,
I know that's different. Like a lot of times when you're waiting for it to start, we're just sitting there. But like it seemed like people were really into that footage that Jeff had captured of Lance fishing. In fact, where he had that little 14-incher just like jump into his hands basically, and people were like, oh. Because it was honestly crazy. Like, I mean, that's the beauty of the GoPro is you're just going to capture moments like that. So
yeah.
And obviously Jeff was filming third person, but still, like,
And his video comes out Sunday morning, guys. Jeff Little's entire video. I don't know if he's got 2 parts or whatever, but one of them comes out. I think it's the whole thing is done. Sunday morning, it's going live. So you guys will see his, and I'm sure other people's videos will just keep trickling out. But the next thing we were going to do, did you want to show anything else? I was going to show the AOI standings. Go to the website.
I mean, we got tons of like I have some pictures from the
yeah, show some.
I'm just kind of scroll through some of these. Give me a sec. We got some pictures from the event basically that are like,
yeah, that's beautiful.
Oh, who took that photo?
Yeah,
that was
that's cool. And then
That's a funny one. That's a little action shot there of Russ getting his champion, his century belt hooked up. A little candid shot, but then these are all after the fact. Like outside the theater, we had a giant banner set up, and people could go and take photos. I mean, we had people that weren't even fishing the event taking photos, and like even over there on the other side, we have Jeff's truck set up with like the boondock stuff, and like. Can see there just us that's a candid shot of us just taking photos, and like it was wild to me seeing so many people come up to this banner that we had sitting out there and just taking a photo. Like people had nothing to do with the event, just happy that we were in their town. So but
that's cool. There we go, there's Rudd.
I mean, look at that. That's such a
beautiful
good shot. Like,
yeah, that is a good shot.
And then this is a fish I took this photo for John. This was during practice. So,
yeah, that's gorgeous.
I mean, gotta give a shout out to Catch on these
trophies. Yeah, the trophies were great. And then the century belt, the cross kick century belt was cool. Having that party, and there's the
bling too.
The Boondocks big bass bling that he's got around his neck from Boondocks. Man, we had a lot of cool stuff going on for sure. And then just the general medallions. Anyone who's in the top 15% who got a check, they got one of those. I think I showed them earlier, the the medallions or whatever, the medals. So that was pretty cool as well. So anyone, if you're in future events, is going to get one of those if you get the top 15%. We actually had them all on stage, and I forgot to tell Rod, it was really only supposed to be for the individual division. So I think people in the team, we started giving away extras and more than we needed to, but it's all good.
Also shout out the Dark Horse Tackle for sending us the clip to kind of intro things.
That was cool.
He went above and beyond to make that happen. So
yeah, it was cool getting that clip from them and be able to play that. Any other clips that you want to show before we? Are these the standings?
Yeah, I did have the standings up there.
Well, that's 7th and 8th. Let's see. Oh, you got this. Here's first. Okay. So yeah, so it was Aaron Griffith, Russ Snyder's, Lance Cooley, and then we said Natu Lee, Jamie Dabbs, Mike Hawks. That's the top 12 who got paid. Luke Turner, Deshaun Johnson, Austin Thornton, Abram Champion, Nick Dyer, and Fisher McDaniel. Notice how tight they all are. Right there between really like Nick Dyer and all the way up right there to Luke, and maybe even back up to Mike Hawks. Yeah, 93 and 93, all the way to Jamie. It's like everyone's but so close.
And it made the hot seat more difficult than I anticipated.
Yeah, whenever you guys are like, "Oh, he's still in there," I was like, "No, stop! He's still in the lead."
Still, I could. Yeah, we needed to remember.
In the future, I'm giving Drew a sheet. Drew and Alex will get a sheet with the results, so there's no confusion.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be great. We'll get that done.
Shout out to Marshall too, Georgia Bassmaster. Like he was actually putting together a really big stringer day too.
He was.
Unfortunately, he was just sick. He just was feeling.
Got sick. Same with Daniel Hamilton, dude. The mullet angle. They were on a team, and Daniel was sick the day before. Right. Marshall got sick the next day.
They must have. Aaron said it was the Popeyes, but I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But I'm going to go over here to the standings. You guys can click on the AOI and Team of the Year. They're up. Thanks to Josh Goforth for putting all this together for us. And Eric Orbitan for putting it on the site. But Josh has figured out he's going to be working all of our AOI points. So now you can kind of see how it works in our scoring being different. You guys remember whoever wins, regardless of their score, like inches, they're always going to get 100. They're 100% is what their score is. That's the best you could do on that day on that body of water. So they're always 100%. So they get 100 points. And then you take the other angler's score, divide it by their score, and you can see how close the other angler got to their 100%, right? So Russ is at 97.8, Lance is 95, Natu down there 92. But here's where everyone's stacked up, right? At 91, 91, 91, 90, 90. Like everyone's really stacked all the way to the top 10 there. And that's pretty cool because you get what you earn.
Okay.
You kind of get what you earn. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then Team of the Year is over here, standings, TMOY. The OG River Champs are obviously in the lead. And you got Smallmouth of the South in second, Snyder's Bakers in third, Gang right behind them. They're still at 96. Hooch Daddy. I mean, they're very close scores. But what's crazy is you can make up a lot because it doesn't go or you could even increase your lead by a lot because it doesn't just go by 1 point. You know what I mean? And that's because we feel like, getting second or third out of, let's say on the individual division, let's say second or third out of 100 or 200 people is different than getting second or third out of 30 or 40 people, right? In a tournament. So why would we do it the way it's been typically done? Why would we do it that way when there's a better formula for it? Like you just get what you earn. Like the winner gets 100%. They set the bar for what's 100%, and everyone else stacks up. So there could be ties. There could be, you just kind of get what you earn, and you don't get unlucky where you're at the very bottom of some, 15 places that are separated by an inch and a half or something. And you're at the very bottom. It's like, dang, another inch and a half. You kind of get what you earn, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
I even want to try to get our local trail to start doing that. And I know this idea came from a local trail, but
it did.
And the easiest way also to explain it, let's say like first place gets 100 inches because easy math for me. And then second place, gets 90, they get 90 points.
Yep.
Instead of 99 points, they would get 90 points.
Right.
And
because
yeah. So first place, that's the bar. Yep. And then you just, however many inches you had divided by whatever. So first place got 82 inches. First place, 82 is the new 100 points.
Right.
And then if you got 40 inches, it's 40 divided by 80 equals, there's your points. It's
Exactly.
once you like get it in your head, like why it's the way it is and how you do the calculation, you're like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah, Lance
So-
Cooley and the guys from Alabama developed that. I think Lance actually may have developed it. And
Good job,
they use
Lance.
it. They use it. I think Iron City Kayak Anglers uses it, and maybe other trails in Alabama now. But it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't matter how many anglers in the tournament. It doesn't matter. It's fair. You know, it's just a bummer when you fish another trail or one event's got tons of people, and you got like 5th place, and another event had 30, and that guy got 5th place. He got the same number of points you did. That doesn't seem right. 5th out of 30 compared to 5th out of 150. So it kind of balances.
Take Hobie, for instance. I think they had 35 boats or something this past weekend.
Yeah.
I think it was like 40.
Ended up being 43. But
40.
yeah. So yeah, the All-American I think was going on at the same time. That I probably heard that.
Plus
attendance.
us
But yeah, you're right. So that it kind of helps that, and it also just lets you just get what you earn. You know what I mean? Doesn't it? You know, based on that person. What is this clip here?
Yeah, this is just one of the guys trudging upstream.
Oh, that's cool.
I
Yeah.
just thought it'd be cool to have some.
Yeah, that's very cool. So we've kind of covered it all. What about the last thing? One of the last things we should cover. I'm going to add it in here in a second. Our first stop of 2025. If you weren't at the theater and didn't see or hear it, our first stop for 2025 was announced. And that was another part. Like we could have done better on some of this stuff. Like I was gonna like tease the crowd, be like, "You guys want to see where we're going in 2025?" You know, and kind of like build it. And it's kind of like the communication between us. We can do better in the future. But we announced it, and it is right here, guys. Shoaliepalooza, February 21st and 22nd, 2025, and you guys will get a little preview of all the events at all the events this year. You'll get. We'll announce one for 2025 at every single stop. So kind of, that one's going to be fun. That's going to be wild. Going down to Florida in February when the bite is on down there and it's cold up north. And I think that'll be well attended.
I can't wait to see what waters are in bounds for that one.
I mean, you could just go right now and look at all the rivers and lakes, you know what I mean, within an hour of Ocala and just basically figure it out, but like Rodman, the Aqualaha, the Withlacoochee, Orange Lake, which is in Bassmaster's top 10 for lakes, in their last magazine a few months ago when they did, or whatever, last year, the top 100 lakes. I mean, Lake Panisofsky, I think is what it's called, or Topa. Yeah. Down there's some good waters, and basically within an hour, and then even the northern section of that fishery, that within northern hour, you've got Swanee bass water. The Santa Fe River is in bounds. So Swanee bass, if you've never caught a Swanee, that's a good time to come over there and catch a Swanee and knock that one off your bucket list too. So they're real pretty little fish. But
they don't get super big, right? Like
no,
14 inches maybe.
Yeah, 14, 15. You might I've caught one that was like 3 pounds. That's a big one for sure. 3-4 pounds is a real big one, but they're cool fish. But it was great. I mean, I can't think. Covered the microbag. We did award the top female, the top youth. It was great seeing the kids get involved. We gave away that Crescent Primo to the top youth, which we'll do at every event as well. Raised a lot of money we gave away that flash colored Shoalie and raised a lot of money. We still have to figure out how much money that was. We got to go count it all up and figure it out. It's complicated. The people taking the money, it was mixed in with the money for the t-shirts too. So we got to go back and count all the raffle tickets basically and do the math. But
we had Jay as Average Joe.
That's right. Jay Jordan won the Average Joe, aggressively average anglers, Average Joe, right in the middle. He was dead middle of the pack. So he was definitely average, but it was a good event. And do you want to show Aaron's clip or no, we show it in our video.
We show it on the other one.
In our video we're about to play. So Travis, and anything else that you didn't make it to the after party, but dude, it was a blast. The after party was a blast. That's the last thing we didn't rate yet. I think the after party was like 9.5 out of 10.
I didn't see Billy's so relaxed all week, and then we got there and he was finally over the hill. He was chill.
It was good.
Here we go. There's a clip from the first stop of the after party.
Oh, you hear what I said?
Yeah, your brain is fried.
When I got back to the main road, I hopped out. I was like,
yeah, I really hate that I missed that.
Yeah, the whole festival down there going on. Live music. That was epic, man.
What happened to
Yeah.
the Queen cover band? I feel like we
That's
got
next. I think that's next week.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
it was.
they were advertising for next week.
Oh,
So they have another one going on next week. So
round
anyway,
two.
yeah, let's go again. But yeah, that was the after party. I think I showed a clip earlier of the speakeasy again. We went there next. So anyway, so what do you guys think now? Should we any last comments? We need to show this. We have an interview with Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. But I wanted to add something about the micro bag, just like
Yeah.
a rule thing, because I'm not sure if there's a rule already. If you have a penalty in the micro bag, like the mouth is open, we should add inches.
Yeah, we talked
Okay.
about that.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I thought about that on the way home.
Oh, yeah.
But
I was
here's
like,
the thing. Here's the thing. It's almost like we shouldn't punish them for a mouth open, because if you leave the mouth open on a micro bag, you're punishing yourself.
No, you're
You know?
making it longer.
Right, which is
It's just
bad.
punishing yourself.
Oh,
yeah.
you're right. You're punishing yourself. Oh, yeah, there you go.
So
Yeah.
it's like a self-enforced punishment. You don't even, if they leave it open, it's like, all right, well, I mean,
You know what?
That's an
100%.
idea to talk about with Amanda. That is an idea.
Yeah. But anyway, and then and I know Travis, I think Travis had something to add too, but the video that you showed, where you're panning across the rooftop there at the slices, I was sitting next to John from Yak Gadget, and that was one of the biggest things over the weekend, just talking to people, getting to know people that maybe you knew in passing, but you really didn't have time to just chill and just talk to people and get to know people. And I had 3 or 4 interactions like that. And I mean, Jake and I had never met in person. It was always, this type of format. So that was probably my favorite takeaway from it, was just meeting people and building stronger connections with people I already knew.
Yeah. That was cool, man. It
catching
really was.
dinks together, the ultimate bonding.
Yeah.
Dwight family.
No, I just wanted
appreciate them showing up. By the way, they said they had a blast. Josiah's excited to get on the water in his new kayak. That's so cool, man.
That
So
whole
happy for
family
him.
turned out. There
Yeah.
was a lot of them in that. Youth and lady angler and
Yeah.
That's who won the Shoalie, right?
He won the Primo.
the primo.
Oh, the Primo. Okay.
But Fisher McDaniel won the Shoalie. His
mom
won the Shoalie. Not him, but
and
his
she's
mom,
keeping it. She
his
said
family.
she's keeping
Yeah,
it.
she's keeping it. Yeah, for her. So
Yeah, she was tickled to death. That was awesome to see her win that.
yeah. And let's remind people before we play the video interview, we're going to end on that. And there, you guys can still post comments, and maybe we'll sit here and kind of pull some up or reply. But basically, let's remind people that Michigan is next. Let's get signed up. We are going to cut back the sponsors gift bags to the first 50. Now we're doing that because, we didn't quite get 100. Okay. We had 80 in the individual, I believe. And then, or maybe 79 when it was all said and done, we removed one more person that didn't fish, but we also had like we were close to 100 total people between the team division, the micro bag, the side pot, all of that stuff, and friends and family. And I think close to 100 unique people. And then obviously family members and other people were there. All of us, we had like a good, like 150 to 175 or 200 people total come to the event because of us. So that was pretty cool, bringing that many people into town and supporting the event. Definitely cool. Let's try to see if we can top that in Michigan. So the payouts, which we didn't really talk about, we could pull that up, but the payouts ended up being it was like 3,400 for Aaron, and then Russ was like, I can't remember, it was like 15 or 18, but they all got their checks right when they walked off stage. They all got it right when they walked off stage. I'll see if Amanda and I ever text. I'll pull that up and see if I have that payouts, if anyone cares to know. Here it is. It was 3,400 and for first, and second was 14, third was 920, fourth was 780, fifth was 640, sixth was 550, seventh was 380, eighth was 320, ninth was 270, 10th was 250, and then 11th and 12th were 150 each. So they basically got their money back for the entry. But it was top 15%, so it's pretty cool. If we get 100 people in, we'll pay out 15, spots. If we have 200, then 30 people will be on, come across the stage, get their medal, and then we'll talk to the top 10 actually on stage, taking the hot seat. So that was pretty cool and good payouts. The team division, I don't know what that was. I can't remember. She didn't send me that, but they all got their checks. They're all cashing checks already. They're happy. think we did all that really good, and Amanda did a really good job. I think I'm trying to think who else we missed in terms of thanking them. But Jeff Little did a great job filming people as well. Billy, Jake, you guys did a great job. Just can't thank everyone enough. Really, the whole city just really showed out.
There's tons of people that just helped that didn't need to. I believe Andrew. Yeah, I think he's in the chat there. He helped with, he gave us a light at the the seminar. So like there was a lot of like unsung heroes and all this. Everybody that helped us clean up.
Yeah. All the people that brought back all the stuff for all the Ohio folks that brought back all the stuff that I had shipped there. And it was insane how many boxes there were. And that allowed me to stay with my family one extra day and keep the kayaks on the back of my truck so we could do a float. And they took all the stuff back, which I got to go.
Yeah. And I mean, shout out to all the influencers at the house. Most of those guys were really understanding and like, they brought air mattresses. We made it work under some interesting scenarios, but
the staff house and everyone was pretty packed over there. But I think the people who brought back, just shout out thanks to Ryan Parker, to Phil Robertson, Mark Bradford. Oh gosh, there was one other person that brought stuff back. I'm gonna miss that I appreciate. I don't know if Jay Jordan brought stuff back. He was going to, but he offered. Dustin offered. Appreciate you guys bringing all that stuff back to us. I'm definitely missing somebody, but couldn't have done it without you guys. I'm gonna have to get a trailer for the next event for sure and figure it out. So it's gonna be wild. But let's see. I guess
Westbrook too for coming out there and doing the kayak demos. Like that was cool.
Southern Boutique Outfitters, they were there. Yep.
We had people doing kayak demos that had nothing to do with us. They were just like, "Hey, I want to try this," which is what it's all about. So.
Yeah, that's right. That was really cool. So, and then let's any last thoughts from Travis?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys again. That was a lot of fun, and I can tell how hard work you put into it, and even the little hiccups you saw, it flowed right over, and I think it was just a really good job. I hate that I didn't win, Drew. I wanted to tell you I was going to spend the money on a new Shoalie, but there's always next time. So
could have won the raffle.
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys go.
All right, buddy.
Thank you again for everything.
See you, man.
Thanks, Travis.
Cool. All right, man. And Andrew Watson, by the way, was at that ACA class afterwards, so that was really cool seeing Russ and Dustin and Jeff Little put on that ACA class afterwards. That was awesome. So
I wish I could have done that, honestly. Like I had to get back, but that's on my list of things to do because I'm a huge proponent of being good at paddling while you kayak fish. So.
The last thing, by the way, that I will say is go and submit your footage, guys. Like I'm talking, if it's just not even an edited clip, like edited video, an actual just 30-second minute clip, go onto the website. And we gotta share it one more time so people understand. We need this footage to put together a final video of the whole event for you guys. Like we can put it on our YouTube channel. So when you go on the website, you can just click on 4 anglers and then click on upload footage. Go over here, and it's not gonna. Anyway, click that button. It doesn't take you guys there because I'm not sharing It pops up a new tab. So, but anyway, click on that and you just submit your footage. It's easy. And you also, when you have an edited GoPro Epic Edit, consideration of that award, you can stop sharing that screen. I have no idea what it is when I'm talking. It's confusing, hard to do them both. But the Epic Edit Award is a 1 minute to 3 minute clip, like a video that you've edited, actually cut and edited. And there's a lot of folks that were filming. So I think that you guys could win. Someone's going to win a GoPro package, a $500, Hero 12 and some accessories for the GoPro Epic Edit. And we'll put that on the screen. Remember, Jake, how we were showing Jeff Little's, Billy, how we were showing Jeff? Yeah, we're showing
So this is one that was submitted to by one of the fishers. So he submitted this video. It's a short one, but he submitted this one through the portal. This is just like a picture of all these people fishing the little honey hole. They're actually chasing dead fish. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. So that's kind of where it went down. That's funny how all that water's unbalanced and some of the guys ended up at found all the same spot.
I really wanted to play that clip during the awards. We just didn't have time, but that was one that the fisher, I believe the guy who won the Primo, he submitted that.
Yeah, absolutely. So go submit the footage, guys, and go submit your Epic Edit, as well, 1 to 3 minutes. and we will give you a GoPro. We'll show your video off on the big screen as people are entering the theater in Michigan. And then we will also give you that. We'll announce the winner and give you that prize there, GoPro Hero 12 package. So, yeah, guys, it was fun. Let's. I guess you got that video queued up yet?
Yeah, I'm gonna queue it up. So we'll still be hanging around, but it'll just be on the screen playing.
And
make sure I can find it.
Yeah. Oh, you're good. But
so we will catch you guys later. So
Enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy this video. Well, all right, guys, we are here with the champ, the first ever champion of the Kayak Adventure Series, Shoaliepalooza event. And I mean, I think it's perfectly fitting, Aaron, that you won this event with Shoalies and in a Crescent Shoalie. That's pretty wild, man. We couldn't have scripted it better. But Aaron Griffith, tell us a little bit about yourself for those that don't know anything about you, and then we'll get into how it went. And Jake, you chime in, man. Let's grill him. Let's get some good info out of this guy.
All right. Well, I'm a YouTuber here in Georgia, and on my YouTube channel, I focus on river bass fishing. That's kind of what all my videos are. And the shoal bass is definitely my favorite fish to catch. So yeah, river bassing.
That's it.
And I'd only fished the Flint a couple times before practicing for this event. They were both last year in summertime. And both of those trips, I think my biggest fish were like 18 inches. Like it was basically just catching a bunch of dinks. So this is really my first time.
18's a dink?
Well, okay. Well,
man, way to make me so bad.
Nice. Those three were nice, but the rest of them were all dinks. But this is really my first time fishing for shoal bass in the spring, not in the mountains. So, I live in the mountains, fish a couple of mountain rivers a lot. And, I've caught some that were almost 20 in the mountains before, but I've never done that. I never caught a 20-incher before this event. So I finally got down there in the springtime. And, man, I can't believe I haven't done it before because there's a bunch of big ones down there in spring in the shoals. So
this is true. This is true, man. I love it down there. It's just the warmer water. You know what I mean? The longer growing season. You and I have talked before at the event and here before we got started about, I used to live up where you live, and it's just the cooler water coming out of the mountains, and it's just a shorter growing season there, I guess. I mean, the water coming out of mountains isn't as fertile as it is in the Piedmont. It's just not. It's coming off of more rock. There's not as many nutrients. So
are there a lot of trout in those streams too?
There are further up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll catch trout. Well, I was gonna say last summer. I mean, most people already know I caught most of my fish on a trick worm. Last summer, I even caught a few trout on a trick worm while fishing for shoalies.
Yeah, that's
That
crazy.
doesn't surprise me. Do those trout push down or do they stay like north?
Well, supposedly, like lower in the rivers where I fish, like supposedly a lot of them die in the summer. That's what people say.
Yeah.
Okay, because I caught a trout in Potato Creek, which I thought was really weird. So.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
No, there's stories here. I don't want to get too off the tangent, but I'll tell you the stories what I know. There are some pretty wealthy landowners on that creek there, and they stock trout in the winter for their literally just personal stocking to be able, because it looks like you're in Montana.
Everyone thought I was crazy, and I'm like, no, I caught a rainbow trout too.
Yeah, they stock them. So there actually is some that they will die eventually or get eaten if they're small enough, but they stock pretty big ones, I think, because they want them
it was
yeah
substantial. I mean, I thought I had like the fish.
Yeah. And then the ones in North Georgia they stock, and then they will, some of them
stripers will probably eat
stripers will eat of them, or they'll go so far up those creeks and rivers where the cold water is, and maybe they'll hunker down and make it through. They'll make it through the some of them will make it through the summer, but not all of them will make it. But the ones that don't end up going downstream. So the funny story I have is I was on a float on the Chattahoochee, pretty close to Lake Lanier, not like the float that puts you right into the lake, but maybe one or two up.
Yeah.
And one time I saw this giant trout just sitting over there on this inside bend, right on by a sandbar. So it's super obvious. Inside bend, calm water, and super obvious. And he's facing upstream. So I went downstream around him. I beached my kayak and I went to and my buddy was with me, Blackwater Bill, who RIP, he's passed away, but he was like in his 60s, 70s at that point already. But great guy. So we have this memory forever. He calls me Grizzly Gregory because I beached and I walked out in the river, snuck up behind it because it was just facing upstream. I kept walking, and I just took two hands and grabbed him and threw him on the bank.
Oh my
And we got
gosh.
pictures with, I got old pictures of that. And it's like a 6 pound, it was a 6 pound rainbow trout. And it was
Wow.
blind in the eye that was facing, that was on the riverside, you know? So anyway, it was blind. I'll have to
Did
find
you
that
eat him?
picture. I think we did actually eat that fish. I think we kept it and ate it. I think we did. Cause we were like, well, this thing's about to die anyway. We wanted to make use of it. So anyway, but,
You are
it was pretty
grizzly,
cool.
Gregory.
Yeah. What's that?
I said you are grizzly, Gregory.
Yeah, that's what he called me. It was so funny. But man, but
Anyway,
back to
sorry
shoal
for that
bass.
tangent.
Yeah, tangent. Back to shoal bass, and in the Shoaliepalooza boundary. So you had 102.75 inches, and before the event, I predicted 101.75. I thought
It was actually 0.25.
Or was it 0.25? Okay. Oh, so I was even closer. Thank you. 102.25. Yeah. So I was even, so I thought someone was going to get over 100. So then Russ got over 100, and you got that cool cross kick century belt, which is, the other events are going to be a little tough to get 100, but it's going to be I think it's going to be done again at some point.
You can do it in the Ozarks.
You can do it.
Yeah.
We can do it at any of them, really. But I mean, dude, tell us so you're catching them on a trick worm. Is there anything you could just tell us about, the area? Where do you think they were spawning? Were they post spawn? I guess I'm thinking they were post spawn because you weighed the one that was 5.5 inches, and it was, 5.5 pounds. And it was, what was that? 21 and
22
a quarter?
inches. The 22 incher was 5.5.
Yeah.
I mean, there were definitely some spawning, and I didn't catch a single fish sight fishing though. The first day of the tournament, we put in at 2:30, and we were all racing up river to this one spot, and I was the only one with a motor, thank God. So I got to this spot first. But at 2:58, I saw 2 fish right there. I'm like, man, I can't wait to cast at them. And right at 3, I cast it in there. I didn't catch either one of those, but I still caught 3 in the first 10 minutes or something. But
nice.
I mean, yeah, they were definitely still spawning. I just didn't catch any sight fishing.
Right. Was most of your fish come on day 1 or day 2? I can't remember. I haven't looked at it. It's cool how the leaderboard will show day 1 and day 2 fish. Plus, we can look at the identifier and see.
Yeah. So day 1, an hour and 20 minutes in the tournament, I already had 89 3/4 inches. So it's just a great start. I think that's when I caught the 2 19.5s on day 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I just got into this one area where I'd been catching them in practice. And a lot of times in practice, if I'd really been practicing well, maybe I wouldn't have tried to hit it so hard. But I was like, you know what? I'm making YouTube videos. I'm just trying to catch fish and make videos.
Right.
And if they bite again in the tournament, they bite again in the tournament. And luckily they did. So
it
kind of worked out. I mean, I hammered that area pretty hard.
I mean, he was super nervous at the house because a lot of us had been to, I won't say the name of the launch, but a lot of them we had been there.
Yeah.
Right? And he was asking me, he's like, "Yo, you think people are going to go there?" I was like, "I don't know, man. It's going to be gnarly there if it rains." Because he only had 2-wheel drive, and that was obviously a concern. Luckily, it didn't rain. It didn't rain.
Well, it did rain. It rained a little bit, but not.
Yeah, but not
bad.
not a scary rain. But
that's cool that you were at that. So you were at the house. So just so everyone knows, there was a bunch of the YouTubers and some of our staff that were all in a big house together, and Jake was there. So it's kind of cool that we have Jake's perspective here of what you were kind of dealing with back, at the house, your nerves, just what you were, what your thoughts were after day 1 and heading into day 2. And, so this is cool that Jake will be able to chime in on this kind of stuff. But you mentioned something that's very interesting that no one's ever had a chance to ever say or talk about before. You said it was 2:58 and I had to just sit there and I couldn't cast for him. How was that format? Having a Friday afternoon bite and getting on the water 30 minutes before, and then having those 4 hours on Friday, again, it's 5 fish throughout the entire event. So Friday and Saturday. But what did you think about that format? Because we've never had a chance to talk to it. You're the first angler we're going to be able to ask. Did you like it? What was interesting or different about it?
I mean, this is only my second tournament ever, so I don't have a ton of tournament experience. But I think it was cool having an extra 4 hours. For some people who don't have the chance to practice, it's probably really good to if whatever they do on Friday doesn't work out, they can switch it up on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one major advantage. I mean, for me, it just went great. So it's I was just hopefully this works out tomorrow. I'm going to do the same thing. Hopefully there's still fish there. And it worked out. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's cool format.
Yeah, it's cool. And you get the afternoon bite, which is kind of nice. Now, did you have plenty of time to, was 7 o'clock a good stopping time? I know there was still plenty of light after 7. We could have gone longer, but I mean, but then that puts you guys getting back pretty late if you keep pushing it further, So I thought 3 to 7 was good, but I mean, what did you think? Would you wish you had another? How hard was it to stop fishing at 7 when there was like plenty of daylight left?
What's funny is I stopped fishing at 6:30 because I just wanted to get my fish in.
Smart.
And then on Saturday, I stopped fishing at like 2:15. Saturday, I felt really bad. I had like 3 hours of sleep. I really like Popeye's ghost pepper wings, and I had them Friday night, and sometimes they mess me up. So I was like,
dude, everybody in the house was sick. I don't know what was going on.
On the way, like on the put-in on Saturday morning, my way upriver took me way longer. I thought I was going to throw up like multiple times. I had to just stop. And I don't know, somehow I just get up to the spot that I've been catching them in. Less than 10 minutes in, I catch the 22-incher. And, I was feeling terrible. I was just like, what is going on?
It sounds like a normal tournament to me. How about you, Jake? You're pretty much going to throw up pretty much before every – that's the way I feel.
I mean, I usually like – I have like this like fear that if I don't get up like an hour early and like go through the morning routine, that I'm going to get out in the water and have to like jump in the water. If you know what I mean. But
yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting, like watching everyone coming back Friday. It was like he was the first one I saw. Aaron came back, and like I was like, "Oh wow, you're back early," and I was like, "Bad day," but actually it was the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't get his fish in till like 4 minutes to spare because he couldn't get him uploaded.
Oh yeah, like I had to get on the Wi-Fi at the house. I got one.
Yeah, I had to like go run in there and get the Wi-Fi and like let him submit it. So.
Yeah, we're even toying around with giving you guys even more time on that Friday because why not? I mean, it's 5 fish. It's not like we're etching a trophy, on Friday, so we could give you more time, and that could help. Now on Saturday, we do have some stuff to get ready, for the awards, so we need to find out who's in what place. But yeah, it was an interesting event for sure. But the other thing I was going to ask you is, did you go to the Bass U brunch? I can't remember. Were you at that breakfast or no?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you were there. So do you remember a little bit what Dr. Salmons was talking about with the shoal bass?
About how far they travel?
How far they travel and how grouped up how grouped up they get. Well, because they're traveling far distances, how grouped up they get in certain areas, but only for a certain, few weeks, of the year. And I think we were still in that few week window. So here's my theory on why a normal tournament, I don't think you could have just wore them out the way you did on Friday. On pre-fishing on Wednesday, Thursday, whenever you were there, and then still turn around and caught them like that on Friday and Saturday. But shoal bass are unique in a couple ways. One, how many group up in these areas during the spring, right, for a 2-3 week window, right, maybe 4 weeks. And the second one is Dr. Salmons. I don't know if he shared this or not because I missed a little bit of it, but he shared me stories before where they've tagged shoal bass in the river. And when they tag fish in lakes, they're just praying to God that one angler catches them and returns a tag, just 1 or 2 tags out of 1,000 fish tag. They're like praying that they get one back and get information. When they went and tagged shoal bass in the Flint River, not only did they get tons of tags, they got the same fish was caught multiple times and within like a week. Like this, we just had, they're like on the phone with the person, like, we just had that fish caught last week. Where were you? And then so in other words, they're very, especially that time of the year, they're very willing, biters, eaters. And that's why I think some of the fish you caught in pre-fishing could have been the same ones because they're kind of dumb that time of year, really. I mean,
yeah. And I've heard, I think on Jeff Little's YouTube channel, Steve Salmons kind of has done that same talk, maybe at like Westbrook Supply Company sometime.
Yeah, that was where I held, the seminar.
So I've listened to that whole YouTube video. So I kind of like, I've learned about how and I've experienced in the mountains, like there's a couple places in the spring I know they're going to be loaded. So
I got a chance to talk to him at the house because he came by for a while and he basically told me, and I didn't tell anyone this because I wasn't going to give him information, but he said, yeah, they're spawning right now. He's like, a lot of people don't realize it, but like they are absolutely on beds and spawning. And like Drew and I were wade fishing. What was that, like Thursday night or something? Like pretty early on, and we saw one really aggressive sitting there. Remember it, like bait. And I walked around and I looked at it, and sure enough, you could see it sitting there guarding that little area. So I mean, they were clearly, in that spawn mentality. So
some of them were. I saw fry out in the river in front of our Airbnb. So some of them had already spawned. I bet you 75%, 65, 75% had already spawned, but some still were
Yeah, I think maybe they were like guarding like the areas too. Like, you know how they get really aggressive after they spawn before they start eating their babies. But
yeah,
I think that
maybe they're interesting too because they don't really guard very long. According to the biologist, they don't really guard long or much at all. They kind of leave. They don't really fry guard very long. I'm talking like super short time because, and I saw teeny fry everywhere. There was no mom or dad around, but it's because there's so much of the grass and little rocks and in those shoals. There's so much surface area and places for them to hide.
Yeah.
They just, the parents sort of just bounce.
That's interesting. Like, I never knew that.
Early.
You know.
So, but anyway, so Aaron, all right, man, you caught that big one, the first thing on day 2. And now you're thinking, what did you call out? Because you had 89 and
it was
small fish for day 1.
It was a 5 1/4 inch coal. It put me from, I had a 16 3/4, so it put me from 90.5 to 95 3/4. So that was like right there. I was like, wow, that's
you already got a lot. Yeah,
huge jump.
And we don't know this because you didn't have signal, so we don't know what's going on. A lot of people didn't have signal on all 3 of the rivers, the major river systems. So it was very much a backloaded upload for the anglers. You know what I mean? Like Russ was uploading, he had signal. Russ did, and he was at like 97, then he got up to 98, 99. And then I was like, whoa, when I saw that, watching it, I said, dude, I was really pulling for someone to get 100. I just want to give away at least one of those century belts, and we fortunately were able to have 2.
We had a lot of big shoalie caught on Saturday because Russ caught that 21 1/4, but then the guy who had big bass, right? He caught another that was bigger, like right away on Saturday, like literally like right away. And I'm pretty sure he caught that on top water.
Oh yeah, you mean the guy who had big bass on the first day?
Right. He caught another bigger one. It was it was Hawks.
Mike or Eric Hawks?
It was Mike.
I think it was Mike.
Because he caught one like right away on the next day. And I was like, okay, today's going to be a slugfest. But then, obviously they didn't know Mr. No Signal over here was hiding a big
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you caught the big one, you made the big coal, and so you're at 95, 96, and then what was the rest of the day like? I mean, did you get up to 102 1/4 pretty soon, or was it still kind of like working? And how far did you have to move from your primary area? I mean, did you have to keep searching for new fish, or?
I didn't move very far. What's funny is I caught the 22 incher and the 21 1/2 incher out of this one like kind of deep hole, and I went like up for a while and then went back down. And on my way up, I caught the 19 3/4, and then I caught like a bunch of little ones. I mean, the trick worm will catch it's going to catch the little ones too. So I caught a bunch of little ones, and I eventually made my way back down. And there was a few other people in my area, and I kind of just rolled into the top of that big hole, just kind of casted my worm out, hook into this big one, and then I got out of my kayak to help land it on the grass right there. And it's literally in front of like 3 other guys that are in the tournament. And one of them's like, is that 19, 20 inches? I'm like, it's at least 20.
Wow.
It's funny too, because Drew called.
And they were literally like, they had been fishing that hole. Like I had fished that hole in the morning. One of the other guys has gone through it. And like, I don't know. I just happened to catch that one, even though it had a ton of pressure already that day.
Drew even pointed out when I was talking to him prior to the tournament that if he was doing this, he would just go to the popular shoal and outfish people. And that's exactly what you did.
That would be one of my strategies. There's definitely 2 ways to do it. Either go to the places where a lot of the fish are going to be, or go to the places but a lot of the people are going to be. And then like you were just saying, a lot of other people fished it, but you still caught that fish. And here's why. A lot of, those shoals, especially up where you live on the upper Hooch and some of the Chestatee, they're like slanted rocks. You know what I mean? They're slanted. And the fish will hide underneath those rocks. And even the rocks that aren't slanted, there's still there's big enough rocks where they hide underneath there. So if you think about it, their back is against a wall and they can only see out one direction. You know what I mean? One spot, sort of. It's like in the back, back doing corner a little bit. And they're hiding in there. And so if your bait doesn't come across it perfectly, they can't really see it. You know what I mean? It's a lot about angles. Shoal bass fishing is a lot about angles and getting yourself in the right position. Don't make the cast to that one spot or that one rock or area until your bait, or that little teeny pool, until your bait can get to where you can come across the pool. Like let's say it's a rectangle the size of a truck bed. You better be making sure your bait can go diagonal through that truck bed. You see what I'm saying? And you throw past it, that corner, and then you bring it through that like truck bed size pool like is with the length of it, not across it where it's shorter, or not where you just land in the middle of it and bring it back. It's a lot about angles. And if people were fishing it, they didn't hit the right angle, then I can see how that could definitely.
And a lot of the fishing I do in the mountains, like if there had been muddy water, I mean, it probably would have been worse for everybody, but that's like, I'm not as good at that. I'm a lot more used to fishing in the clear water, dragging like a soft plastic into those different holes. So it was good. It definitely turned out good for me that it was low in clear water. That's
a good point. It was clear as what you were used to. You're right.
It had like a good stain to it, but it wasn't like super clear, which is like my favorite kind of water to fish.
I love using a little like 3-inch Nico Helgramite, but I didn't feel like the water. Well, first off, there wasn't quite as much current in some of these areas, and I like to drift that through current. And then also because it's a little bit more dingy water, I just felt better with the trick worm. And I always use like a black trick worm will work great in clear water. And if it's dingy, it's also kind of like the best color to go to.
Especially in that color water. That is perfect. Were you Texas rigging it?
Yeah, so
weightless.
I was Texas rigging it with a weight.
With a little weight, okay.
That's what most people seem to be doing based on my intel. And the theory behind that is it the weight drops down and the worm is sitting there kind of, doing its thing, and then they come out. So
it's easier just like, there's a bunch of those little holes in the area that are spawning. I kind of just like to plop it in, the top of the hole and let it.
Because I tried like a shaky head and it just wasn't really doing it the same. Like it didn't seem like that. It seemed like the way Aaron was rigging it was like the better way. I just didn't.
And it's a little bit bigger, like than some other worms you put on there. But I like how that was a bigger size too. The other cool thing, I'm sure you probably did this, is if you're downstream as you're working your way up, and a lot of you guys I think were wade fishing. And even if you weren't, you can get because these pools and little grass patches are pretty small. If you're going upstream at the fish, you can actually get really close to where they are to pitch in and get a real accurate cast. You don't need, this isn't the Susquehanna River somewhere where you're bombing, later in the year and, in the fall or summer when it gets really, really low and clear. I would say that these bomb casts in that super, super clear water, much even clearer than it was for us, will be more critical. But in the spring, where there's just these little holes and pools and places, you can get close to make sure you get that exact most accurate cast to bring it through there. Were you doing some of that, or were you trying to bomb it?
No, I was pretty much had my kayak like attached to me, wading upriver a ton of the time. So I was definitely flipping up and into low holes. And actually, a 20-incher I caught in practice. I mean, it was literally like, there's like a big rock right here. There's a little deep slit, and I was just right on the other side of the big rock, and pulled him out of there.
Lift him right up.
Yeah.
So, in the upper, I've done this more in the rivers that you live around, but one of the coolest things I've ever done is, I think the Upper Hooch has some really, really good rocks to do this on. They're all the way out of the water, and they're long shoal rocks, and you can get up on those and just walk with your bait under. It just, you know what I mean? They can't feel and sense that you're on the rock because it's so, dense. A log, log moves and makes vibration. You would spook fish if you just walked on a log and obviously did that. You can walk on the log, rocks, keep hopping between the rocks and just move your bait as you're walking. There's literally, just a foot of line under the water or whatever. And you only have 5 feet of line out maybe total. And when they bite, you just lift them right up. And that's crazy. So you can get real close especially that time of year.
I noticed another guy, Fisher, I think he got like 12.
Yeah,
he was a local, and I kind of beat him to his spot both days really, because he came through a bit of float on Saturday, so I got to hit certain areas before him. But he definitely kind of like you were saying, he just had a certain amount of feet of line out and just kind of plopped it in. I haven't really done that as much.
That's what Alex
was
doing.
A little further away.
It's cool.
In there, but.
So we actually have a clip of you catching.
Yeah, let's show that.
One. Do we want to show it?
We can show it. I mean,
okay.
We can show it now, and then we'll wrap up.
All right. So, do you want to set the stage for this clip, or you want to just let it play?
Well, this is basically like I finally get to the area I want to get to, and this is less than 10 minutes into actually fishing on day 2. So,
all right, let's roll it.
I just hooked myself, and this is a good one. I just hooked my arm. Man, this is nasty. Oh god. Well, look at that absolute giant. With this fish catch, I very legitimately have a shot at winning this tournament, which is insane. I mean, this is a 22-inch shoal bass. My PB caught my previous PB in practice, 21 3/4. This one barely reached 22. An absolute giant. I'm gonna have to weigh him, even though it's gonna waste a little time. But
That's cool. And then I know we asked you this on stage, but what did it weigh?
It was 5 pounds, 5 ounces.
All right. So that one sounds like a post spawn fish with how long it was.
Yeah.
It was
That's
beautiful.
incredible, dude.
That was just
Get
such
your- what's it?
a pretty fish.
Yeah. Getting the PB in a tournament, there's nothing like it, dude. There's nothing
Yeah.
like
He
getting
broke
a
his
PB.
PB like 3 times. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, you can see the look on my face. I just look back. I'm like, what
Yeah.
in the world? But
And it's wild too when you think about it, man. Like when we were kind of previewing this tournament, we all some of us felt there could be one with shoalies and over 100, and I thought it would be just because more people were going to fish for shoalies, and then some people thought, well, maybe the lakes could play with big largemouth, but people that come down to Shoaliepalooza, they mainly want to catch shoal bass. There are a few people that try the lakes, and the lakes may have shown out more if more people would have fished them. But out of like 80 anglers, and then there was some more in the team division, probably almost 100 people total in the event, but not many people fish the lakes just because I mean, shoal bass is why you come down there.
I think it was under, I think there was less than, maybe 5 people fish the lakes.
Yeah, not that
I know
many.
a lot of people were really on that largemouth bite, but they didn't generate any current. So that was a gamble that did not pay off.
Right. The Okmulgee played really well. Russ mentioned he was over there in second place. And then you had people in the Chattahoochee in that the top 12 as well that we paid out. So it really was a pretty balanced event in terms of, what, and I remember people saying that out of those 3, they thought it was going to be a little bit harder to win it on the Flint. And I was like, I don't know about that, man. They're pretty even, all 3 of those fisheries. That the Flint, you're never going to stumble into some giant largemouth that's going to help you. You're never going to stumble into a big Alabama bass that might help you. And you might on the Chattahoochee and the Okmulgee. The Flint, you're all in on shoal bass. And obviously, Aaron, you proved that you can win it with just shoal bass and win it on the Flint. So, that's the river that's right there closest to Thomaston. So maybe it was just kind of meant to be for you out of a Crescent Shoalie. How was the Shoalie, by the way, to fish out of? I mean, obviously you've got one for a reason, so I assume you've been enjoying it.
yeah, I mean, I love it. I just got a motor for it.
Sweet.
Which I really only used it just to get up to where I was fishing, and then I kind of just put it up the rest of the day. But I love the Shoalie. I mean, it's a great kayak signed by Drew here.
Yeah, that's that's wild, man. That makes me feel so good. You guys had such a good time there, and all the memories everyone made. And I mean, every one of our events is sponsored by a different kayak manufacturer. We raise money for pediatric cancer by raffling off that cool flash color Shoalie down in Thomaston. So it's going to be exciting to see. If you could script it perfectly, maybe someone would win out of that particular brand that's the sponsor of all of these stops. I know that's not going to happen, but a New Canoe is next, so we look forward to seeing them in Michigan. So that brings me to my next point. Now that you're in the lead for the AOI race, the standings, so I don't know if you'll see those are going to be on the website probably today. And you have 100 points because whoever wins the event always gets 100. And then everyone else kind of falls in line based on the percentage of how close they got to 100 inches. So it's not like 1 point increment. So you're in the lead, man. You need one more event of these first 5, the regular season 5 events. Are you kind of thinking about maybe joining in and fishing another event? Because, the winner gets a e-bike that's worth $5,000 and a bunch of other prizes. It's getting close to $10,000 for the Angler of the Year prize. So I don't know if you have time in your schedule or not, but if you looked at it, did you know about any of those prize packages and all that?
I kind of forgot about the whole e-bike thing. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty hard to beat Russ Snyder's, but
we'll see.
I don't know. The next closest event is like a good 8 hours from my house. So I don't know. My dad was saying, you should try another one, but
how far away is Arcana?
Well, I think Bowling Green would be the next closest. because
good,
that's
that
the
one.
finale. That's the brood stock. So you got to do one of the other four. Now there's 4 regular season events. And then that score gets combined with your Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is just north of Nashville. It's just across the border in Kentucky. So that one's not far, all things, but the Susquehanna River is world-class and be another one that could be worth trying just because smallmouth, it's world-class fishery that everyone, wants to get to. That's going to be well-attended.
I think it would fit your style too.
It would fit, I think so.
You can do a little bit of anything at Susquehanna. So,
but maybe you can ride with somebody and team up because you didn't enter the team division, right? You weren't on a team, or were you?
No, I wasn't. I wish I was because whoever was with me, if I at least had someone decent, I probably would have won. But
exactly, you guys could have won the team too. So that's just something to keep in mind, guys. Why don't you could always get someone to join you, and it makes the trip a little bit affordable. Get over one of those other stops, and then if you got a good finish there or just a decent finish, to go along with your first, then it's up to your Bowling Green, Kentucky broodstock, our finale finish, and those 3 scores. That's the AOI. So, worth considering. I wouldn't roll over to Russ for sure, man. He's a hammer, but at the same time, he's focusing more on Bassmaster and Hobie maybe and other stuff. So KBF, who knows? I don't know. He's probably not going to fish a lot of these. I know he's going to fish maybe at least one, maybe 2 more, even counting broodstock. So, you got the jump start on everybody else. So see if it works. And if it works out, we'll see it at one of these other events.
Yeah. I mean, if it works on my schedule, I'll probably try to make at least one more. So
yeah, why not? Cool. Anything else you can think of, Jake? And we'll let Aaron go. I know we're going to put this in on our other live stream, but
no, I think we talked about just about everything. I don't want to give him too much longer. So
yeah. So last thing, have you been able to like even comprehend or how it feels yet? Because I know people always ask me that question after you win, but like I'm always interested to see how other people kind of describe feelings that it's hard to describe. So how would you best describe it?
I mean, at first it just it didn't even really seem real. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. And it's like the amount of comments I got on the post of winning, it was crazy. I saw that like Christine Fisher commented on it today. I was like, wow, like there's some big people.
She won this week too.
She did. Yeah. That's cool. That was so cool. I saw that. That's exciting.
And I forget his name, Bailey something.
Yeah, Bailey Egbert with Serious Angler. You had the guys from Fish Tips reaching out, like a lot of big.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've gone on one trip with Austin Neary, like a guided trip. So.
Oh, that's nice.
That was cool that he commented.
That's very cool, man. And then you also can say that, it's always cool that you enter, one of these events and you could say, you were able to beat some of the best, even though, it's one time, small sample set, but you're 1 out of 1, man. You beat Russ, you beat, Steve Kennedy, the Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. You beat a lot of guys, and I hate to call them out, but at the same time, calling them out it's basically I'm doing it because everyone knows their name. We know how good they are. So it's a compliment to them, like people want to try to beat me at a tournament, and they'll feel good. Even if they don't place in the money, as long as they beat me, they're like, oh yeah, I beat you, Drew. So I take it as a compliment. I'm not upset by it when people do that. So that's the same thing with those guys. Some real good fit anglers, we're in this tournament. So it probably feels good to beat those guys, and congrats, man.
Yeah.
You earned it, and you took the Boondocks Big Bass Bling, the Century Belt, all of the above, and we look forward to seeing you on the next trip. And maybe my nephew will even go up and fish another one. Or be at one. He was graduating from North Georgia, where you're at, and I know he's been classmates with you in some of the classes. My nephew Thomas. So maybe you can get him, you guys, right up there and fish the Susquehanna or fish one of these other events, and get him out there on the water. He loves to fish too, so we'll see. Yeah. But all right, man, have a good one. Enjoy it, and we'll catch you later.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. See you, Jake.